Hey, are you tired of as soon as you get done opening presents, you have to go start getting ready for Christmas dinner? Well, let me show you this amazing recipe to make your Christmas Eve meal or Christmas meal even easier. Today I'm going to show you how to make beef Wellington. Now be advised, I'm starting this a day early because this process does take 2 days. But the cool thing is once you get it prepped, on the day you want to have it, all you do is throw it in the oven or the smoker. As soon as it's done, you pop it out and it's ready to serve. So, we're gonna need a 4-pound portion of a beef tenderloin. A lot of times when you get these from the stores, you have to buy the whole thing, but most of the time you can tell the butcher, hey, I need you to cut me a 4-pound section of it. I wanna make beef Wellington. We have a puff pastry, we have some prosciutto, straight from Italy. We have shallots, which if you've never cooked with one, it's just a tiny little onion that tastes good. We have fresh garlic, we have brandy, a pound of cremini mushrooms, which basically just they're the brown baby bellas. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, and then I like to use the Grey Poupon Country Dijon. But the first thing we have to do is we have to get our, I think it's called a duck sauce. I don't know, Gordon Ramsay would probably be really disappointed in me. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I know you have to prepare the mushrooms first. So let's get into it. I was wrong, you have to sear the meat first because it's got to come down in temp before you wrap it. So my bad, my cast iron's getting warm, hot, really hot. So we're just gonna add a little olive oil to the meat. That's gonna act as our binder. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this basting brush, just thin it out, move it all around. And I've already done the other side of this, but we're just gonna season it with garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Now when you're doing this recipe, you can use I use a cast iron in my smoker to finish it off. You can use the oven if you have a meat thermometer that you can use. I just like doing it in the smoker because it's easy. I just shove the probe in and then it sends an alert to my phone and says, hey, your beef Wellington's done. All right, let's sear this thing. All right, once our cast iron is nice and hot, we're gonna get the whole tenderloin. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna sear each side and the ends. All right, now that we have the tenderloin seasoned and seared, we're gonna put it off to the side so it can rest. We're gonna get the mushrooms ready, and then we're gonna wrap this thing into a giant Tootsie Roll of amazing flavor. All right, now that the meat's resting, we need to get our mushrooms ready. So I have a pound of cremini mushrooms. I've already washed them, trimmed them, and I'm not a chef, so I have this thing I call a slammer, and I'm just gonna slam them. Nice. All right, now that our mushrooms are all chopped down, if you think this looks like a lot of mushrooms, it is. It's a ton. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them in a pan, and we're just gonna let them cook until all the water's gone. And they're gonna create this kind of like dry paste that's really good. Then we're gonna add our garlics, shallot, and a little bit of brandy, and it's gonna taste amazing. All right, so as you can see here, the mushrooms are cooking at like a medium-high heat. And if you can see in the pan, there's a bunch of water. And what we're doing is we're reducing all of that off until basically all the water's gone and it's like a dry paste. All right, basically all the water is out of the mushrooms. So now we're gonna add our shallots, garlic, and the recipe says for a specific rub that is from the company that has the recipe. But I just like using some Yum Yum Get Some. So we're gonna let this go for about 5 minutes. Let the mushrooms and shallots and garlic all absorb into the mushrooms. And after that, we're gonna add some brandy. Let it cook for another 8 to 10 minutes to really simmer down. And yeah, then we'll be good to start assembling our beef Wellington. All right, so it is all gone together. We waited about 5 to 8 minutes. Now I've measured this out just because I don't have a bunch of shot glasses at home. That is 4 ounces of brandy. And we're just gonna let that sit in there for another 8 to 10 minutes. Let all the mushrooms and shallots and garlic absorb that. It's also gonna get down to like a more paste consistency. All right, now that we got our mushrooms all done, we're gonna throw them in the fridge and start getting the prosciutto ready to wrap up the tenderloin. These need to go in the fridge so that they can fully cool, and then we can assemble the whole thing. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down 2 layers of saran wrap. That way we can roll the tenderloin. All right, now that we got the saran wrap down, we're gonna lay out some prosciutto. Now, prosciutto is very delicate, so when you are putting it out, be pretty careful. It is a very delicate, like, it's very thin. It rips really easy. We're gonna overlap it just a little bit. All right, and then it's actually pretty same. I'm gonna overlap it a little bit. This is gonna get wrapped around the tenderloin. And maybe a little bit wider than the tenderloin because whatever is off the edges, we're gonna tuck in just to capture all the flavors. All right, next, we're gonna put the duck sauce or dasha. I don't know what it's called. Like I said, Gordon Ramsay would be very disappointed in me. But we're gonna put that down on this before we put the meat down. I'm gonna put this right in the center, and you can kind of just scoop it out. Some people put it like all over to have like a circle around the tenderloin. I kind of prefer to just have it sitting on top. So what I'll do is when I roll it, I'll actually keep track of where I think the top is. Spread that out. So I have the tenderloin and I've basted it with Dijon mustard. So we're gonna put that, let me figure out which side I want to be the top. I want this to be the top. Right there. Now if you do spill anything on the saran wrap, I don't know, I always wipe it up because I'm actually gonna use this saran wrap to help make the form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up on the edge. We're gonna scoop it over. And this is where we kind of use the saran wrap to help us get a really tight tuck in. You see I'm just kind of like rolling my fingers into saran wrap. And you just pull the saran wrap up, move it a little bit more forward, move it up, a little bit more forward. Now at this point, it feels pretty tight, so I'm gonna pull this back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold in, and I can kind of feel my mushroom layers like right here on top. I'm gonna fold in that extra prosciutto. So we got a nice little prosciutto, really nice steak football. Now I'm gonna pull it over, and I'm gonna create like a tube. And then this is the trick I learned. I originally did this recipe from a guy from RecTech, and I was like, you know, I want to make something fancy. And then the first like 2 times I made it, and this isn't exactly the cheapest meal to make, the first 2 times I made it, the flavors were all there, but they kept falling apart. So eventually I watched some like 12 or 20 minute Gordon Ramsay video, and he was like, hey, this is what you have to do when you're assembling it. And I was like, oh, well, that makes a ton of sense. I will try that. And I've been doing it for about 6 years. This is my wife's favorite meal. We only make it like once or twice a year, but it always turns out amazing. Here is the trick. We got it off the, I always attach it to the side of the island. You're gonna grab it here, you're gonna roll it forward, like a Tootsie Roll. And once you get it fully together, kind of grab it like you'd be riding a bike, and just roll it forward. Now, not only are you creating a perfect shape, but all the air is getting sucked out of that thing. And so now you have this perfect little log And then what I'll actually do is I'm gonna take, just to make sure my log stays together, I'm gonna go and saran wrap it the other way. That way it doesn't leak anything and it keeps its shape throughout the day. So that's it for assembly. Tomorrow morning we're gonna put it into a puff pastry with some egg wash, and then I'm gonna take a knife and try to draw some leaves and make it look fancy. And then in the afternoon we'll cook it and have dinner. And that's why I love this recipe. All the prep, for the most part, all the prep happens the night before. You wrap it in the puff pastry, that takes like maybe 12, 15 minutes. And then you just wait till night. And then it either goes in the oven or the smoker for like maybe an hour, hour and a half. I guess we'll see tomorrow. Like I said, I only make it once or twice a year, and I go off when the probe says it hits 125. So yeah, check back in tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day. We have our football-sized tenderloin wrapped in prosciutto and our mushrooms. It is nice and solid. I've taken the puff pastry and rolled it out, that way it'll fold over better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 3 beaten eggs, and all the ingredients will be in the description, and we're just gonna egg wash the puff pastry. So we're gonna lay it down first where I'm gonna place it. And all this is gonna do is this is gonna create a binding layer in between the beef Wellington and the puff pastry. So what I'm gonna do is first I put that down. I've already identified that my mushrooms are sitting right here. So I'm gonna flip it, and I want this to sit right in the center, because that's gonna be the prettiest part. So once I know that's on the center, take the rest of my eggs, and you don't have to be the neatest with this. We're just trying to get the eggs all powdered out onto the different sections. That way when we fold it over, it's all gonna stick. And then we're gonna use Gordon Ramsay's little trick again. We're gonna use the plastic wrap to cinch it all down and make sure everything gets as tight as possible. And this helps out with the cooking process. That way when it's done cooking and you go to serve it, it doesn't fall apart on you. All right, so egg wash is down. I'm gonna pull up my plastic wrap. And lift it over. Now I'm still gonna grab it here and almost tuck it like a blanket. I'm gonna pull it back. Now we are gonna end up trimming some of this off. So I need to flip it now. Once again, I'm just using the plastic wrap to get it as tight as possible. I'm gonna tuck these ends in. All right, and then once we have, this is where the mushrooms are. So I'm gonna straighten everything out, because I'm gonna do that Tootsie Roll technique. And I'm just gonna roll that up tight. And as soon as I got about 1 or 2 inches on either side, just roll. All right, next step's gonna be into the smoker, so I'll see you probably in about 6 hours. All right, so we are at least 6 hours later. Right now, we're gonna take the egg wash and we're just gonna brush across the beef Wellington. You might have some extra egg left over, but we wanna make sure we get all around, covering all areas. Don't forget the ends. Now, you can do things to make this look pretty. Right now, I'm not really good at making it look pretty, and my wife likes to do that, but she's making cookies. So I'm just gonna make it tasty. And after we get the egg wash on, just gonna get some salt on the top. All right, this thing is ready to go into the smoker, 450 degrees. We are looking for a golden to golden brown outer for the puff pastry and an internal temp of 133. See you in a bit. All right, so it is currently 6:25. I pulled it out at 6:15, so it took about 1 hour and 15 minutes to cook. Once it hit 133, we were good to go, so we're gonna check the inside, see how it looks. My biggest growing pain when I first started cooking this was it staying together when it cut. And as we can see here, we have a perfect medium. I also let it rest for 10 minutes before I cut into it. And now we're gonna cut it into thick 1-inch slices for everybody to enjoy. And that's dinner, folks. As you can see, the mushroom layers right on the top. And we are good to go. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, the recipe can be found on the RecTech cooking app. And then literally just go on YouTube, type in Beef Wellington, Gordon Ramsay, and it shows you the little techniques you need to do to make everything work with the plastic wrap. Hey, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, see you in the new year. And if you like this content, like, follow, subscribe, hit all the buttons, and we'll talk to you later.